So I was playing some Warzone over the weekend, specifically playing some Zombies Royale, and I realized that in Season 6, I have yet to make a video going over what I believe are the best loadouts this season. And generally speaking, I do it actually twice a season, but it looks like during Season 6, I'm only going to get one of these videos out. But that's exactly what we're going to be doing today, going over all of the weapons, all of the attachments, all of the perks that make up what I think are the best classes in Warzone. And they're actually a little bit different this time. First of all, we're going to be going over the best loadouts with all of the new weapons that came in Season 6. So first of all, the R700, the AA12, and finally the ASVAL. And some of these are actually really good in Warzone, whereas others are a little bit lackluster. On top of this, recently we've got some updates and changes to weapons, which of course change the meta of Warzone as well. And honestly, I have to say, the current meta in Warzone is probably the most balanced. There are some really annoying weapons like the R90 with Dragon's Breath rounds, and we'll talk about that later on. But today we're going to be going over the 5 best classes, including some of the classes with some of the new weapons as well. So sit back, relax, and enjoy, and hopefully this video can actually help you out get some more dubs in Warzone. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a pretty typical class with one of the new weapons here called the ASVAL. Now you're going to notice that the name of this class is Car SMG because normally I use the Car 98 with an SMG here. And the reason why I'm using the ASVAL instead of an SMG is because that's the way you need to think of this weapon. First of all, it only has a 30 round mag at the very most. So first of all, you're going to run out of ammo very quickly, and it's only really good up to like 30 meters, I want to say. After that, it has too much recoil. The damage drops off a lot, but under that range, it is really good and can compete with like the MP5 and the MP7. In other words, the best SMGs in the game. So don't think of the VAL as an assault rifle. Think of it more as an SMG. Now, as far as the rest of this class, first of all, starting out with the Car 98K, this is basically the same Car 98 I've used since the very beginning. Monolithic suppressor, the Sin Guard 27.6 to improve the damage range, bullet velocity, recoil control. Recoil control really doesn't matter that much. The tac laser for improved aim down sight speed. That's really the main thing to improve here. Also aiming stability as well. On top of this, I'm using the stippled grip tape mainly for the sprint to fire speed and the aim down sight speed. And then finally, the variable zoom scope. That is just the one I prefer on this weapon. You may prefer the normal scope on the sniper, but personally, I like the variable zoom. On top of this, in the night mode or in zombies, you may want a thermal sight. Not my cup of tea, but you might want that as well. After this, as far as perks go, this is basically my stereotypical perks on any normal Warzone class. We're going to look at one class today with some perks that are changed, but EOD to counteract any explosives, overkill so you can use 2 primary weapons, and amped so you can switch weapons faster. Honestly, out of all of these perks, probably amped is the most important, especially when you're using a sniper rifle. What I will say is in the past, I have used the HDR. Now I've learned that the Car 98 is just better. It has better aim down sight speed, and essentially you're always going to get a one-shot headshot kill, and if you hit the body, it's going to be multiple shots, so just aim for that head. Now, as far as the new weapon, the ASVAL, this is what I like to use on this one. First of all, the VLK 200mm OSA barrel. This one improves your damage range and bullet velocity. Of course, that is important for Warzone as you get in longer gunfights. The tac laser, this one improves your aim down sight speed and also stability, which is important with this gun. Commando foregrip, mainly for that recoil stabilization. Like I said before, this gun does have a good amount of recoil, so that's why we're using that here. And then 30 round mags, this is because you need a larger magazine. I think the base is 20, and that is just simply not enough for Warzone. And then stippled grip tape, this is going to improve your aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed. I truly believe that this is probably the best class setup. It's a really good gun up close. It's just very difficult to use in quads because you run out of ammo so quick. That is why guns like the MP7 with 60 round mags might do a little bit better for you. Now on top of this, I normally use C4 and heartbeat sensor. Always heartbeat sensor. You can use a thermite instead of C4 since they've nerfed the C4, but personally I like C4 a little bit better just because it's a one hit to vehicles and the thermite is not. That's essentially my thinking behind it. So the second class we have here is specifically for Zombies Royale, but you can use this in normal battle royale as well. It's with the MP7 and the M4A1. First of all, the MP7 right now is my favorite SMG. It's good at long range, it's good at mid range, and it's good at short range. Has extremely low recoil, and if you haven't tried this weapon out, I really recommend it. The M4 right now is my favorite assault rifle. It does really good damage. I think the recoil pattern is really easy to control, and I've just always really liked it, but right now with the current meta, it's just my personal favorite. Is it the best numbers-wise? No, we'll get into that in a second, but it's just my personal favorite. So the one difference you'll notice with this class is I am not using EOD. I am using Quick Fix. The reason being is when you get a kill with this weapon, it brings you back to full health. This is important when playing Zombies Royale because as multiple zombies run at you, they may hit you once or twice and take your health down, and then if you kill one of the zombies, your health goes back to full, and the zombies don't affect your armor. So, Quick Fix is really good in Zombies Royale, where it is not very good in any other Battle Royale. So this is specifically why I say use this class in Zombies Royale and Zombies Royale only. If you're using this in a normal Battle Royale mode, just simply switch Quick Fix for EOD. Now, as far as the class setup I'm using, I have used the same thing on the MP7 for a really long time. Mono Suppressor, you're going to see that on pretty much every single class. The Recon Barrel improves your damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control. Relatively straightforward. Tac Laser, you're also going to see this one a lot. 60 round mags, you just want a larger magazine for playing quads and trios when you get in multiple gunfights and you're destroying armor. You're going to need more and more bullets. And then Stippy Grippy, this one, of course, improving your sprint to fire and aim down sight speed. Absolutely one of the best attachments in the game. After this, looking at the M4, a very similar class to what we've seen before with the M4. Once again, Mono Suppressor. Now, I use the M16 barrel. You do not need to use this barrel. I personally prefer it. It's a little bit slower, but has less recoil. If you're not using this one, the other one you can use is the Corvus barrel. I much prefer the M16, but if you want a little bit faster of a weapon, you can use that Corvus barrel instead. After this, Commando foregrip, once again to improve recoil. The 60 round mags, because I normally play trios or quads. And then finally, Stippy Grippy once again. So as I said before, my personal favorite class is this one, especially for Zombies Royale. I really enjoy it, and I think you guys will as well. Remember how I was talking about the Kar 98 and SMG? Well, I do have an alternate class to this as well. Normally, with this class, I would use the Kar 98 and the MP7. It's just really good at long range, so if you're using a sniper, you can use the MP7 basically as an assault rifle and an SMG at the same time. But I know some people like to use the new weapons, so with the R700 or the SPR208, this is the best class setup, and I actually really do enjoy this. It just has a little bit slower of an aim down sights time after the nerf than the Kar 98, so I think the Kar 98 is still a little bit better, but this one's very close. Now, the thing is a lot of people will go right away and say you need to use the Norma mags or you need to use the Lapua because they improve bullet damage and bullet velocity, and it will make the weapon easier to use. Before the nerf to this weapon, that was the case. However, afterwards, they've made the aim down sights time much worse with both of these, so bad that it's not even worth using, and you're not even going to get more one-shot kills with these because you're still going to need to hit the head. So just use normal ammunition. Mono Suppressor, the SPR 26-inch barrel. This is going to improve your damage range and bullet velocity and recoil control, but that doesn't really matter. After this, Tac Laser to improve your aim down sights time, and then this one actually improves your rate of fire, so this is basically the feather bolt assembly. And then finally, I am using the Solo Zero. This is the only sniper I don't use the variable zoom on. I don't know why. I just like the regular scope better. And this is really good. It's very similar to the Kar 98K. It's just what you prefer. Personally, I like the Kar 98 better, and very easily you can take the Kar 98 class setup from before and just switch it out with the R700, and then you just use it with the MP7. So very easily to switch in and out the different weapons that we talked about today. Now, moving into my current favorite class. This is the one that surprises me every single time I use it, but it's the PKM and the MP5. I like both of these weapons. The MP5 is my personal favorite SMG. It's not as good as the MP7 at long range, but at short range, it's a little bit better. And then the PKM just surprises me every single time I use it. So the same class as we talked about before, but on your PKM, this is what you're going to use. Once again, monolithic suppressor. After this, the heavy barrel to improve damage range and bullet velocity. This thing melts people at long range. If you can control the recoil, which honestly isn't that bad, you can absolutely shred people. Speaking of which, I use the snatch grip for recoil control, but it also helps with aim down sight speed. It's one of the only grips in the game that actually does this, and it's probably the most powerful attachment on this weapon. Make sure you're using the snatch grip. Finally, Tac Laser, and I'm using the holographic sight. This is another thing that I've recently started using. It's either this or the VLK 3x optic to help you out with recoil a little bit, but I actually prefer the holo sight on this one and another weapon that we're going to look at later. Trust me, try this weapon out. It has an amazing time to kill and a really easy recoil pattern. And then my MP5 is basically the same thing that it's always been. Monolithic integral suppressor, Tac Laser, Merc foregrip, 45 round mags, and Stippy Grippy. I've used this for pretty much every single class setup video I've used. Shouldn't need to explain this. It's just all around really good. So I actually have two more class setups today. The first one is probably the most surprising. Both of these weapons I don't believe I've ever had in a class setup for Warzone before, but this one is the CR56 AMAX and the R900 shotgun. So starting out with the R900, this one, basically the magic of this one is the Dragon's Breath. It does incendiary damage. It's really good against humans in Warzone. It doesn't actually work very good against zombies, so I don't recommend it in Zombies Royale. But against humans, it just shreds. It's basically a 2-shot kill at short range, and there's basically no better short-range weapon in the game currently. Now, basically, the rest of your class is built around this. The choke to improve the damage range and pellet spread. On top of this, similarly, you're using the tac sentry barrel to improve the damage range and pellet spread. And then the 5 megawatt laser. This one is to improve hip fire accuracy, and more importantly, the sprint to fire speed. And finally, once again, that stippy grippy for the exact same reasons. This gun is super annoying. I'm going to just come out and say it. Please don't use it. It is annoying. I hate running into it, but we have to be honest, it's one of the best weapons in the game right now. And I'm using it with a weapon that I've never had on one of my classes, the CR56 AMAX. Now, this weapon is shocking to me because the last time I used this weapon, I found it had way too much recoil, way too hard to control, but upon using it again recently, this thing just shreds. It's very easy to control, and if you hit headshots with this thing, you win every freaking gunfight. Now, it's important that you hit headshots, but if you do, you are just going to be dropping people left, right, and center. Now, the class I use with this is once again Mono Suppressor, the Zodiac Barrel, which improves your damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control, probably the most important attachment on here. After this, the Ranger foregrip, once again for that recoil control. Then 45 round magazines. You just want a larger magazine, once again for playing trios and quads. And then another important attachment, the VLK 3x. This is because you're going to be using this weapon most of the time at long range to pick people off, and it helps improve recoil. That is really the most important thing with the VLK times 3. And as I said, this one was shocking to me because I never really liked this weapon in Warzone. I've heard people say it was good. I couldn't get on board with it, and then I tried it again, and it might be my favorite assault rifle, or close to my favorite assault rifle, maybe right behind the M4 right now. So give this thing a shot. Like I said, it's really, really good. Now, the final one is my class with the AA12, and essentially, normally, I would use this class with an MP5 as a secondary weapon. Generally, I just find it a little bit better, but since we're looking at the new weapons for Season 6, I threw the AA12 on here. So first of all, the Kilo class setup. This is basically the best assault rifle right now. Basically no recoil whatsoever, and it puts out really, really, really good damage, even at long range. So, Mono Suppressor. On top of this, the Syngard 19.8 Prowler Barrel. This one, once again, damage range, bullet velocity, recoil control. Basically the 3 things that you're looking for in any barrel that you use. On top of this, Commando foregrip for more recoil stabilization. You probably don't necessarily need it, but I prefer the extra recoil stabilization. Once again, I'm using the PBX Hollow Sight. Some people use the other Hollow Sight, but this one I do find takes up less of your screen, so you kind of have more peripheral vision with this one than the other Hollow Sight, but just basically pick whatever one you prefer. And then 60 round magazines, once again, because I'm playing trios and quads, I like the extra ammo, and this is just a pretty standard Kilo class for Warzone. Now, after this, the AA12, a lot of people are going to go right away and throw on either the Dragon's Breath rounds or the frag rounds. They just don't work in Warzone for me. Yeah, in multiplayer, they're really, really good, but I find you have to reload too much in Warzone. On top of this, they're really unreliable, so I actually use the 20-round drum mag. You can use the 32, but you move very, very slow with it, and I find that 20 is often enough. What I do find with this weapon is you'll often win 1 gunfight or 2 gunfights with this, but if you're playing in trios or quads, that 3rd or 4th person will often pick you off. I don't think this is one of the best weapons in Warzone. I think the R900 is better. But it is still pretty damn good for those close range gunfights. On top of this, I'm using the stippled grip tape for faster ADS and sprint out. Same reason why I'm using the 5 megawatt laser for that sprint to fire speed. Also, I'm using the torrent barrel. This one is for damage range and tighter spread. Similarly with the choke on this one as well. So honestly, not my favorite weapon. I would rather use the R90 if I'm using a shotgun with Dragon's Breath, but it's still pretty decent, especially against people. I find for some reason it doesn't work as well against zombies. The damage profile is just different when you're shooting zombies. I find the MP7 is best when fighting zombies, and that's why I said that that was my favorite Zombies Royale class. So ladies and gentlemen, that is pretty much it. Those are my favorite loadouts right now in Warzone, and the top 5, in my opinion, best loadouts as well. Some of them I just incorporated some of the new weapons, so you'll see some good classes that you can use with the Season 6 weapons, and hopefully this was able to help you out. If it did, it's always appreciated if you do hit that like button. If you're new here, like what you see, and want to stay up to date on all my videos, we're getting closer and closer to 1 million subscribers, so if you want to be a part of that, be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard, and I want